it is time for me to share with you all my Reddit Fantasy Bingo Board 2025 choices. I first came across this in one of my many different Discord servers I'm in, video shared by Rescues and Readings. Then I also watched videos from 4 Paws in a Book and a few other ones, but I'm gonna put the first video I saw down there in the description box down below. They explain the rules and all that much more clear than I can these days. Basically, there's 25 prompts, 1 book per prompt. There's no repeating, so you can't double up or anything like that. You can only do 1 reread, and there is like a hard version, but I'm just doing the regular version. Before I share you my choices, there are, I want to say, possibly 3 books that I own physically. All the other books I do not own physically. And also, the books I don't own physically, I chose on a whim. I didn't like go deep diving into what the plots were, or the characters, or trigger warnings, or any of that. I literally went down a rabbit hole of watching a bunch of other suggestions from other people's channels that were doing the Our Fantasy Bingo 2025 edition, and I was like, oh, that cover looks nice, or that cover looks interesting, or ooh, I like that title, or ooh, I've been hearing about that book for a while, I should probably put it on my board. So kind of chosen blindly, kind of not. The ones that I chose that other people suggested are channels I watch frequently, so I kind of trust their instincts, I guess. It's easy from decision paralysis going on here. So I'm going to read what I have here. So we're going to go across the top. So first, for Knights and Paladins, I'm going to be reading Sisters of Sword and Shadow. Next is a hidden gem. So this one I don't actually have a choice for. It is a book that has under 1,000 reviews on Goodreads. I feel like any book I choose now, by the time I get to it, will probably have over 1,000 reviews on Goodreads. So I'm going to say that for when I need to pick it. Third option is published in the 80s. I'm going to be reading Color and Magic by Terry Brooks. I'm reading this solely because on the 25 and 25 bingo board that Bree created, I put it on my husband's bingo board for him because we did each other's bingo boards. And so I'm like, well, I made him read it. I might as well read it. And I also know there's an audiobook version of it, so. Next is high fashion. So high fashion has to be either like in the world, or a character has to be involved in it or something. And I'm going to be doing Jade City. Next is Down with the System. So I was trying to take down a system. I have a physical copy of Red Rising. Here is the pretty ebook picture. It's somewhere on my bookshelf, kind there somewhere. Next one is another physical copy. It is Impossible Places. So the story takes place in a place that would break a physicist's brain or heart. And so I have a copy of a Doctor Who book. It's like a volume of stories. It's pretty thick. I thought about doing Dungeon Crawler Carl because I see it all over the place and it looks interesting, but I really want to read this Doctor Who book that I haven't been sitting on my shelf for a while. Next is a book in parts. So it's broken in parts that are not just chapters, like part 1, part 2, volume 1, volume 2, things like that. I'm gonna be reading Cruel Prince. And that one's also on my TBR for next month for a readathon. Third square in the second row is Gods and Pantheons. I will be hopefully reading book number 6 of the Percy Jackson series. I just learned that Rick Riordan has written 2 more books after the 5th Percy Jackson book. Last in series, I will be reading A Court of Silver Flames at some point between now and the end of March. I am nearly done with book number 3 of the ACOTAR series, so I feel like I can get to the last book before this time next year. So the 5th box in the 2nd row is a book club or read-along book, but it has to be one that is a group read from the Our Fantasy board. So I was looking through, and so I'm going to be reading Howl's Moving Castle. My kids have watched that anime, so I figured might as well read the book or listen to the book. Next row. Parents. So the main character has to be a parent or play a parental role. And for this one, I chose Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. And the next one, I can never pronounce this word. It's epistolary. I'm saying that wrong. Don't come after me. But it means that it features letters, diaries, newspapers, or things of that nature. And I'm going with Full Speed to a Crash Landing. Next is published in 2025, and I will be reading The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. For the prompt of author of color, I will be reading the sequel to Legend Born. I read that one last year, really enjoyed it, and so I want to continue with that one. And then the last square in this row is small press or self-published. I'm leaving it blank. Lots of self-published books are being released over the year. So I'm sure I can find one that is a fantasy novel or one that has already been published. So I have a few ideas in mind. We'll see what I feel like. So this one's definitely a mood read when I pick it. Next row, Biopunk. I'm going to be reading Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. I'm trying to read my handwriting here. Followed up by Elves and Dwarves. And I'm either going to be reading / listening to The Hobbit or listening to The Ninth Reign. All right, the next square that I have on here is a LGBTQIA+ protagonist, and I will be reading Chain Gang All-Stars. The cover looked interesting. Then there's a prompt of 5 short stories. This one I am reading Robots and Revolutions. I have to think about robots, I guess. Stranger in a Strange Land. This one I've heard about all over the place, and it looks kind of interesting. It's a fat book, but I'm okay with that. It is by Babel by R.F. Kuang. And then this other square on the first row, the last square, or the last line, is recycle a bingo square. So you reuse a bingo square from previous Our Fantasy Reddit bingo board for fantasy, and I went through the list. And so I'm going to be choosing non-human protagonist, and I will be reading the next book in the Murderbot Diary series. I am nearly done with the series, followed up by Cozy Science Fiction Fantasy, and I will be reading The Last Gift of the Universe. The cover looks cute. There's a guy and a girl, and then the guy has an ex-girlfriend's cat, and they're traveling in space. I mean, the cover looks really cute. So next is a generic title. So the prompt has a bunch of different words that are in most different fantasy novels, like court and throne and king and things like that. And so I'm going to be doing A Court of Frost and Sunlight, which is book number 4 in the ACOTAR series. It's a short book. I can totally get it done sometime within next year. Because like I said, my goal is to finish the series by this time next year. And the second to last prompt is not a book. Movies, video games, things like that have to do with fantasy. That won't be hard. And the final one is Pirates. Do I need to explain that one? It's just pirates. And I have 2 different choices here, but I think I'm going to go with the first one, and it's Dark Water Daughter. If I can't find that one in a format that is available to me, then I will be reading Princess Bride. Because I like the movie, so why wouldn't I read the book? And those are my choices for a bingo board. Usually I'd be more descriptive of what the book is about and all that, but I did not want to make this into a hour-long video. So, If you want to stick around to see if I actually stick with my goals of reading these books on the bingo board, let me know. I'm also going to be updating my 25 and 25 bingo board shortly and posting a video about the progress on that one. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this quick video about my choices, and I hope you hang around. So I think that's it.